Hey everyone, welcome to the 7th week of the Shadow Dancer devlog series. Last week we began a new project and started building the game up again for the vertical slice. We finished to build the level and adding the gameplay elements to it. We fixed many issues that came up during that. This video would be very long if I would talk about all of these, and to be honest, many of them aren't that interesting. I picked a few problems and ideas that actually taught us something new. We had the problem when the player hides in the bushes, it will cover most of the viewport. I made a transparency shader that looks much better than the standard shader built in Unity. I'm not a shader programmer, by the way. I didn't learn the syntax. I have some experience with the material editor in Unreal Engine, so I needed a similar solution to make a shader. My choice of tool was the Amplify shader for this task. Regardless of my efforts, the result was devastating. The FPS rate dropped from 100 to 30 on my machine. I should think about it earlier. If you have hundreds of transparent objects on your scene, that nothing needs to optimal in deferred rendering. I could make a script to switch between the opaque and the transparent versions of the objects, based on the distance from the player, or otherwise optimize it. However, Dottie had a much simpler solution for the problem. She pushed all the bushes into the ground a little. This way, she solved the cover problem almost entirely, elegant and simple. When generating the pre-compute global illumination takes more time than a few minutes, you are doing something wrong. We never really dive deep into this area. We know something is wrong, but didn't know what. The answer came in form of an article series from Unity. Introduction to Pre-Compute Real-Time GUI. Worth to read all the 9 parts of this series, but here is a short list to properly set up your scene for real-time GUI. On big objects like cliffs, larger rocks or buildings, set the light map static. On smaller objects like all the detail elements, disable the light map static. Cover the playable parts of the scene with light props. I put a link in the description to an article how you can do light props properly. After we went through these steps, our generation process speeded up and finished it under 1 minute. We implemented a new feature into the game, the shadow objects. These objects are only visible while the player is in shadow form. When the character enters this form, she partially travels to the shadow plane and can see these objects. Right now we have two ideas about how we can use this feature. First, give the player guidance. The Shadow Links used shadow runes to mark their passage in a way that only they can detect. Only those can see these signs who are able to step into this plane of shadow. Next ideas came from the fact that these objects are not just visible in shadow form, but they are also touchable. The player can stay on them as long as she can see them. We can make bridges and platforms that disappear if the character steps out of the shadow. That's it for this week. Hope you enjoyed this video. Next week we continue working on this project and getting closer to the vertical slice. Thanks for watching, and we will see you all next time.